screen is a very good day to you and welcome to today's edition of Flash News here on Undaunted. I am Oyin Opala. The recent admission by La Republic to Cameroon Ministry of Defense that Ambazonia is at war and unsafe highlights their situation in the region and country. The confirmation of persistent kidnappings, ghost towns, and improvised explosive devices as security threats only adds to the gravity of the conflict. These conflicts which began in 2016-2017, has escalated into a full-blown war between the Ambazonian State Army and La Republique du Cameroon Army, resulting in significant loss of human lives and properties. In other news, Russia President Vladimir Putin showcased the markup currency bill at the 16th BRICS summit in Kazan, sparking discussions about a potential BRICS currency. However, the BRICS alliance quickly clarified that the banknote was unofficial and merely a display presented by Putin. This move is part of Russia's broader de-dollarization agenda aimed at evading sanctions. It is worth noting that the BRICS countries are working on creating a single payment system, BRICS Pay, to facilitate retail payments and transactions between member countries. The system aims to promote economic cooperation and reduce dependence on the US dollar. However, some BRICS members, such as India, South Africa, and Brazil, seem hesitant to abandon the US dollar altogether. So in essence, the BRICS Pay system is expected to be decentralized and independent payment messaging mechanism system, which is going to allow for safe, transparent, and cost-effective transaction. The system may also include a cloud platform to connect national payment system. Oh well, when we come back on this very short break, we'll go into the full detail and analysis of the introduction we just gave. The recent admission by La Republique du Cameroon's Ministry of Defense that Ambazonia is at war and unsafe highlights their situation in the Ambazonian country. The confirmation of persistent kidnappings, ghost towns, and improvised explosive devices as security threats only add to the gravity of the conflict. The conflict, which began in 2017-2016, has, of course, now escalated into a full-blown war between the Ambazonian State Army and the La Republique du Cameroon Colonial Army, resulting in significant loss of so many human lives and properties. The Colonial Ministry acknowledged of kidnappings for ransom as a dominant activity on the ground is noteworthy. At this point, would pause and ask, so they have accepted that there is no normalcy. But its failure to acknowledge the role of the colonial army and proxy militias in these kidnappings raises concerns about accountability and, of course, transparency. Just imagine how humans are being beaten and maltreated. But on the other hand, the international community has been criticized for its inadequate response to the crisis, which is true if you look at it considerably. The United States, for instance, has issued statements condemning the violence, but its efforts have been described as minimal and far from vigorous. Check out the words in other countries, how intense they are, and how intense the US and the UN comes handy. The European Union has also called for a peaceful resolution to the conflict, but its influence is limited, and if its influence is not even heard. The conflict has its roots in what is terrible, going down to colonialism and marginalization of the English-speaking people, the Anglophone population, the Ambazonian people. So far, the Swiss government has attempted to mediate in a resolution, but its efforts have been met with, skepticism by the Cameroon's government. The United Nations has also urged both sides to engage in inclusive dialogue, but its efforts have been hindered by the war's lack of attention on the global stage. Everyone ignoring it just because of whose back they're trying to pat. Ultimately, a lasting resolution to the conflict will, require not so much, just a commitment to inclusive dialogue, accountability, and transparency. The international community must play a more active role in supporting a peaceful resolution and holding those responsible for human rights abuses accountable. Now let's get to BRICS and her new banking system. A new system and payment system being developed by BRICS countries could potentially undermine international sanctions and pose a significant threat to the Western-led financial system. The system, which would facilitate international payments outside the dollar system, could limit the need for the US dollar in global trade. The BRICS alliance, comprising major countries and developing countries such as Russia, China, India, and Brazil, as well as newer members like South Africa, Iran, and Egypt, is pushing forward with plans to create a new payment system. The system would likely include a significant role for gold and could potentially be adopted by as many as 159 countries. Former UK Chancellor Lord Lamont of Larwick has warned that such a system would be a major threat to the Western-led financial system, which has long been dominated by the US dollar. The implications of such a system could be far-reaching, potentially weakening the effectiveness of international sanctions and altering the global economic landscape as well. But it seems BRICS moving away from their de-dollarization agenda as it is. Now, according to reports, Russia's President Vladimir Putin showcased a mock-up currency, a bill at the 16th BRICS summit in Kazan, which sparked discussions about, a potential BRICS currency. But however, the BRICS alliance quickly clarified that the banknote was unofficial and merely a display presented by Putin. This move is part of Russia's broader de-dollarization agenda, which is aimed at evading sanctions. But there is this thing. Even among BRICS members, there's little interest in abandoning the US dollar. Countries like India, South Africa, and Brazil are actually taking a step back from the idea. So who is still on board with de-dollarization? At this point, if we take account, it will be Russia, China, and Iran. Countries that are increasingly, should we use the word desperate, to reduce their reliance on the US dollar. They see BRICS as a way to achieve this goal, but it's unclear how successful they will be at the end of the year. But interestingly, some analysts put out that the shift away from the US dollar is driven by some geopolitics, economic fundamentals such as fluctuations in interest rates and dollar liquidity also play a significant role. But while we are still trying to investigate that, UK is saying that they won't be forced to pick between US and the EU. Well, on this particular report, the UK's Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, has made it clear that the UK won't be forced to choose between strengthening ties with the US or the European Union, even with Donald Trump's return to the White House. Starmer emphasized that his government will maintain a strong partnership with the US while also fostering closer relationship with Europe. This stance is particularly significant given the speculation surrounding Trump's potential policies, including a possible trade war with Europe and reduced support for Ukraine and NATO. While analysts suggest that such moves could put pressure on the UK to take sides. In the light of these dangerous times, as Starmer described them, the UK's commitment to backing Ukraine against Russia remains very crucial. Stability is essential for growth, and the UK's relationship with both the US and Europe will be vital in navigating these complex geopolitical dynamics as the cases. All right, and of course, that's where we call it a quit here on the Flash News. Remember that Undaunted comes up at the top of the hour, 8 p.m. Amber time. Do have a beautiful day ahead.